Hello my dear students, here is again your computer Wunsum, and today I will show you what hyperlinks are all about. Hyperlinks are in our case the HTML links. The HTML links also are hyperlinks because they link from one document to another. You're calling them hyperlinks, however, because you're packaging them more or less into a beautiful text, beautiful image or something like this. Usually if you move the mouse over any link, you can see that the mouse changes to a hand, and we will do this exactly to make sure that we are getting the same website like the most famous websites here. But how do we create a link in the first place? Therefore we need the specific HTML tag A. The HTML tag A means that this thing is a hyperlink, and we need to give it a specific attribute which selects the hyperlink path, href. Href is the hyperlink reference to a specific website, so it means that this thing looks for the website which is stated here in the name. So for instance, if we look for link name, and refresh it here, you can see that the file is not found because link name doesn't exist. If a link exists or the document to a link exists, we can link it together. In our case, we have for instance jabberwocky.html. Or we can use a link to a website. Here in my case I have for instance the website of w3schools.com. As you can see, the link site is here, is a link is now purple. The reason for this is the link has been clicked already. And now if I click on this link, you are getting on the website where the link leads to. In our case it's this w3schools.com. By the way, w3schools.com is a website where you can have every HTML tutorial you want. There you can learn everything we have learned before in the videos and a little bit after too. Also we learn about CSS in this case. This thing here is a so-called absolute link. An absolute link is a link that always stays the same no matter what you do, except if you change any of the locations directly in the website. For our cases, we need to show it a little bit later now. I have here the index.html and Jabberwocky HTML. Absolute links never change no matter what you do, and our Jabberwocky.html has the same property of having an absolute link. The absolute link is up here. This absolute link never changes except if we change the file of Jabberwocky.html and change its location. So what we can do now is again copy this here, this href equals quotation marks, and call it absolute link to Jabberwocky, and copy the link here, save it, and then if I refresh this, absolute link to Jabberwocky, if I click on this, you can see we can get to Jabberwocky.html. Now it's good practice that we keep all our sites we have in a separate folder. I create a new folder and call it sites. And now usually, except of the index.html, we do the sites which we have here in there. However, if we do this, you can see file not found. The reason for this is Jabberwocky.html doesn't exist anymore on this path here with file C users once documents HTML English Jabberwocky.html. However, the Jabberwocky in itself still exists. If I click on it, it is here. The only difference is that now there is the sites in here. So if we change the location of the document, the hyperlink wouldn't work anymore. Therefore, we need to add the new address to our hyperlink so it works again. I go did it with this here. And now, if I go to this link again, you can see that we get to Jabberwocky. As I said, there are these absolute links which lead definitely anywhere here. However, there are also relative links. Relative links are links that are relative to the position of your document. So for instance, the index.html is now in the moment in the folder ENG, and the file jabberwocky.html is in the folder sites. The folder sites is in the folder ENG. What we can do now is make a reference to the folder sites and then from there go to jabberwocky.html. So href equals, and then we write down the path, which is here sites, and then here the file name /jabberwocky.html. And this is the relative link. By the way, I make some breaks to keep it a little bit in order. Here's a link to wfreeschools.com, absolute link to Jabberwocky, and the relative link. The relative link is exactly the same as the absolute link, only in the difference that it relates to the position of the original document. So if we have here index.html, it looks for a folder in the same folder called sites, which exists, goes in there, and then it looks for the file jabberwocky.html, which exists, and opens it. This is how relative links work. In comparison, absolute links start from the drive. So it starts with the whole folder structure, or for instance with the World Wide Web, it starts with the main domain, and then goes on a little bit deeper until it reaches the specific file. The next step we are going to do is put the link into the jabberwocky.html. For the moment it looks like this. However, we need to put the link in there just to make it work. I go to the Jabberwocky site, and now we have to put the link here with the href equals, and now we can say index.html, but I will show you why. Back to index, save it, refresh the site. You can say back to index. If I click on it, file not found. It's the same problem with the relative location in here too. Changing this to an absolute link is a little bit tedious because we need to upload the website a little bit later if you want to work with it. Therefore, it is a little bit better to use relative links, but this is something for another day. For the moment, we need to make sure that this index site works. What we need to do is, we are in the Jabberwocky now, we need to go outside here at index.html and get the index.html file. To get outside, we need to write down point slash. Point slash means that you go out of this folder you are currently into and then go up here to look for the file you are needing or the folder you are needing. You also have technically the way to go up 1, 2, 3 or 4 paths. So if we put down point slash, then you go up 3 folders. In my case, you would be in documents. And then you can choose the specific path you want to go there. I go back to index. As you can see, it works like a breeze. And now we can go again to the other side and it works without any problem. I also will show you that you can use some of the same attributes in this case like the other ones we have heard beforehand. Here for instance we had the title attribute, the poem from Lewis Carroll. This attribute also works for HTML. We say title equals, go back to the main page, and then if we go with the mouse above it, you can see that there is the same tooltip which we have created beforehand with poem from Lewis Carroll. This is around everything I will show you about hyperlinks, except of one little thing, because this thing will also be important for hyperlinks a little bit later and will be a part of the next chapter. We also have the ability to insert pictures into the website. This goes as follows. At first we need to create the folder, new folder. We call it images. The images folder is just here to keep our images, pictures and so on and so forth. You can organize the files and folders however you want. It's up to you to decide what files, what folders you want to have. In my case, for the moment, for a small website, images is more than enough. And what we will do in this case, we will use our little polar bear, the one you're seeing at the beginning, at the end of the video, Karl-Heinz is his name, and put it here into the relative link. So here's the bear Karl-Heinz now. And what we can do now is, instead of the text we are having in index.html, we can write down the specific tag for a in picture, which is img src equals, and then use the path of this Karl-Heinz here. Therefore we need to go back index.html, then we go to images, so we need images, and then slash to go into the folder images, and then we say Karl-Heinz dot gif. If we save it now, refresh it, you can see that Karl-Heinz is here. And now, if we click on Karl-Heinz, we get on the Jabberwocky site. However, as you also can see, Karl-Heinz is gigantic compared to the website. So our links work, but the problem is Karl-Heinz is way too big for our website. So we need to flatten it a little bit. But this is what we are going to do in the next video. Until then, I can't wait to see your beautiful linked website, your Computerwunsam.